Good evening everybody and welcome. I know Facebook will be sending out some notifications, so hopefully they'll be going to you and you will get notified that I'm here and that I am indeed live. And we've been doing, over the last couple of weeks, we've been doing these series of sessions where we've brought some coaches on. It had been hoped that it would be kind of an interview idea, however technology has changed and Facebook no longer offers that as an option. So I'm doing the session outside this evening. It's turned out a really beautiful evening here. If it gets a little bit too noisy in the background, I will absolutely move inside. So if you're here, please pop a comment in and say hi. I would love to chat to you. I see Lynn is there. Hi Lynn. Lynn's one of our other coaches here in Ireland, so it's lovely to have some support. But wherever you are, pop in and say hello to me and let me know that you are watching in. And today is Global Wellness Day, so we will be chatting a little bit about wellness and I guess my wellbeing journey. And hi Paula. My wellbeing journey, my journey as a relaxed kids coach, and why it is so important and why wellness is so important to cultivate in our young people from a really very young age. And I guess just to, I suppose, touch on that, earlier this week I received a message from a client who has been very familiar with my Relaxed Kids journey and very familiar with Relaxed Kids over the last number of years, really, from my journey began. I first trained as a coach in 2012, so I'm approaching my 8th year as a Relaxed Kids coach, and I often say that the person that has changed the most as part of that journey has been me. And I passionately believe that when we bring the 7 steps that forms the basis of Relaxed Kids, Baby Mindful and our Charge Up programs, when we bring those 7 steps into our lives, then really it is a huge opportunity for change and transformation and for overall wellness. That's not to say that I've got it right or that I get it right all the time. Absolutely, we're all work in progress, and a lot of the time I think these things are things for us to aspire to rather than to 100% hold solid, you know. And I guess when people maybe see someone who is a wellbeing coach or a Relaxed Kids coach, they think they've got it all sussed, and you know what we know is that we don't. We use these skills because they help, and they help us to navigate this craziness that we call life. So hi Claire, watching in as well there. There has been an update over the last 24 hours with Facebook, I reckon, and for some reason on lives comments aren't coming in, and I'm not able to see them. So if you are commenting now and you have a question for me or anything like that, please pop it in, pop in the comments. I will come back to them when the live is finished and I'll go through any of them that are there, because I don't know what has happened. It happened to a friend on a live last night as well. But just to go back to the story from during the week of my friend and client who has been very familiar with the journey of Relaxed Kids. It was her little boy's birthday just at the beginning of May there, and he just turned 2, and they had joined in. They live quite a distance away from me, so they'd never, obviously, I mean, and he's only 2, so they hadn't been able to get to classes anyway with me, but he would obviously have been too young. But I was doing some Facebook Live sessions, some Zoom sessions and some group sessions for charity and things like that, and they were able to join in those sessions. And what I guess what materialized from that was that, you know, they were starting to introduce some of the ideas of stretching and breathing and fun ways, as we do with all toddlers. You know, toddlers, they're just such little sponges, and they're just absorbing absolutely everything that that is around them. And so they were kind of, you know, doing some of the bits and pieces, and she'd mentioned this to me, and I had sent him Mernetta's little star book for his birthday. And again, I mean, he's pretty young, but we thought there's beautiful pictures in them, and he'll enjoy that side of it. And they've adapted it as their bedtime routine. And she sent me a beautiful message. I'll pop it into the comments whenever I'm finished, because the whole context is beautiful. But what she said was that you know, they've really created a lovely routine around looking at those positive qualities and reflecting on them as a family. And she talked about how it reminded both her and his daddy of the little special moments that they had throughout the day, which is so precious, and it was so beautiful to share. And she just, I guess, pointed out that in the same way that she's recognised how important it is, while she always knew that she wanted to start this young, she probably thought, oh, he's too young. And this journey has allowed her to think about and see how, you know, in the same way as she's walking around and talking to him about objects and developing his speech and developing things about colours and numbers and all of the things that we might be doing with a toddler, that it is really, really important that she is also starting to sow seeds around those qualities. So she shared with me last night that when she was talking about being a special star, and his daddy said, you know, that he loved that he was, he loved his laughter, and apparently all day today he's been running about saying he loves his laughter. So, you know, these are such beautiful opportunities, and I feel very blessed that Relax Kids has come into my life. I previously worked as a trainer for a chain of coffee shops. I was one of their international trainers, and I'm now the trainer for Relax Kids in Ireland, as well as being a coach. And I alongside that, I was also a holistic therapist and wellbeing coach, so I kind of did that part-time. Always had a huge interest in health and wellbeing, and in how we can support ourselves to, I guess, be the healthiest that we can be. In 2011, I went through I guess, well, probably 2010, 2011, I went through quite a difficult time emotionally, and was very blessed that I had some tools and resources that I was able to call on at that point to navigate my ways kind of through that. And then I found Relax Kids in, I guess, the early part of 2012, perhaps. I think it was through a book, through one of the books maybe, or something. I can't actually remember, but I remember when I came across it thinking, this is exactly what children and young people need. We need this as a prevention is better than cure. We need it from a very young age, and we need to just normalise these conversations and develop emotional intelligence in the same way as we develop any other form of intelligence. And I often say that we don't teach children maths because and numbers at 2 or 3 or 5 or 6, whatever age we're teaching numbers. We don't teach them numbers at those ages because we expect them to be accountants at that age. We teach them numbers at that stage because that's when a child's brain or a human brain is most open to learning. Now, of course, neuroplasticity is a thing. We can always learn new things, and we're never too late to learn these skills. However, I passionately believe that the younger we bring these into children's lives, then it's absolutely, we get the foundations in there. And just this week with a group of young people, I did a Zoom session with a group of teenagers, and these young people have been working with me through their youth project for about 5 or 6 years now, so they're fairly familiar with the whole process and the whole technique. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure if they would show up for a Zoom, because it was a beautiful sunny evening. It was at 6:30, and nobody was making them be there. They had to log in, they had to show up themselves, and both myself and their youth leader were a wee bit kind of going, I don't know how many we'll have. And let's face it, for teenagers, typically, mindfulness, slowing down, relaxing, it's often, even for those that need it, it's often not really the thing that they perhaps want to be doing. And I would argue that they all need it, but even for those who might be showing signs of needing it more than others. And yet we had a full house. We had them all there. And what was absolutely fabulous to see was that they recalled the recall of stuff that we talk about, and how it has become so natural to them. I don't believe for a moment, if I was trying to engage the same group of young people amongst their peers who perhaps hadn't experienced sessions from a very young age, that it would have been much more difficult. I think trying to get teenagers to engage, and as I said, particularly in the situation that we're in at the moment, can be incredibly difficult. But when something's been familiar to them from a much younger age, then we normalise it. And I find that particularly for young boys. So I guess, yeah, I mean, I wish we had the technology here where I could have this fabulous conversation with Mernetta, because and obviously that's outside of our control. We'll have to talk to the powers that be in the land of Facebook. But I would, you know, I totally admire the vision that Mernetta has had, and the team behind Relax Kids, Charge Up and Baby Mindful, and how they have created something that the world needs now more than ever. I mean, you know, these uncharted waters, this, you know, all of the cliches, all of the words that we've been using, and we know there were challenges beforehand, and these challenges are perhaps greater now, I believe, because of the unknown and the unexpectedness, and the, I guess, the split in how people are feeling. You know, people have had very different journeys throughout this period, which I have deliberately called a period of pause, because that's what it has been for me. I appreciate that for many people it hasn't been that. Many of our key workers have still been out working and really putting themselves, you know, at the front of everything that's been going on. So we've all had a very different experience, and for some children, some young people, and some adults indeed, it will have been a very welcome opportunity. For others, it will have been a very difficult opportunity, a very difficult time. And now as we move to another stage, that will also bring its own challenges for those who grew very comfortable with, you know, their little bubble, their space that they were in. And indeed those who, you know, have felt that was a challenging time. So there's lots of different things, and for me that's the beauty of, I guess, having these skills, is that they allow us to appreciate and understand the importance of being in the moment, and of coming sometimes out of our head and dropping into our body. And I, you know, will always say that if we want to relax, we've got to move. And that's one of the things for me that I absolutely love about how we structure our sessions. Apologies for the traffic that's building up a little bit behind there. Hopefully you've been able to hear me okay. But yeah, you know, that's one of the ways that we particularly build that in. People often say, how do you get a child to relax? My response is, you get them to move. And when we've got them to move, and we've got all that pent up energy released and kind of moved through their body, then we are in a much better position to support them, I guess, and for them to be able to come in and drop down into that space of calm for themselves. And I mentioned at the beginning that today is Global Wellness Day, and I suppose I wanted to share a little bit around that, because we know, obviously it's adults that are listening into this at the moment, and we've all heard the importance and the cliche of looking after our own oxygen mask first. And that is as important right now as it is at any time. But as I said, today is Global Wellness Day, and I suppose one of the questions that I would like to perhaps get you to reflect on a little bit is, what is wellness? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to your family? What will it mean? What does it mean for your children? What are the wellness practices, I guess, within your home? And I would highly recommend that you if you haven't already done so, that you check out the free downloads that we have, the resources that Relax Kids have made available, both the CAM pack and also the 21-day Relax Kids at Home pack, because there are some lovely ways and lovely techniques of bringing wellness in there. I had a swim in a local lake this afternoon, and then a climb on the mountain, not the one, well, you actually can't see it behind me because the sun's setting and it has blocked it out, but I was mountain climbing this evening, and I was reflecting on, you know, these mountains. I've grown up with them. This lake has been forever beside me, and I'm blessed to live in a very beautiful area. But, you know, and we often hear people saying on a sunny day, you know, sure, how could anybody be in bad form that day? And I'm sure we've all used that, or, you know, we've looked at the weather and we've thought, you know, that weather would depress you, and all of those kind of things that we hear and that are a response. That may be true for some people. However, I guess my experience is that they aren't true for everybody, because if it was as simple as a sunny day, or you know, living in a beautiful area, or any of those things, then, you know, if our well-being and our emotional well-being and our mental health, if it was really all just as simple as that, I think we would have a huge solution. Now, don't get me wrong, of course all those things play a part. They absolutely play their role. You know, wellness is a jigsaw puzzle for me, and there are, you know, many pieces in that jigsaw puzzle, and they absolutely do play all their part. But what I thought about this evening was that when I was at my most difficult, when things were really difficult for me, I still lived in this area. I still had access to the lake and to the mountains. There were sunny days, and yet I wasn't kind of, I guess, in the place to enjoy those, and I wasn't able to recognise just how beautiful and how special they were. I wasn't able to make the most of a sunny day and all that goes with that. And so, you know, it's those things. When I was in that place, I needed to kind of have a number of tools at my, you know, within reach, tools that I was familiar with, that I knew that could help. And I'm very blessed that I did have some of those there. I couldn't reach for them initially, but I, somewhere in the back of my head, had that awareness. And that's what really drives me and motivates me to support young people, because we cannot, you know, life will not be smooth sailing. In fact, it's inevitable that life will bring us challenges and difficult moments, and times and experiences that we really, you know, weren't prepared for. And it will bring those for our young people as well. There's no doubt in any way about that. So I guess for me, it's really, really important that we create a culture of wellness, create a culture of emotional intelligence, of understanding our emotions and how we react, how we can best support ourselves, and to pass those skills on to the younger generation. And I guess I guess something that really stuck with me, some of you might know Father Brian Darcy. He used to do, I think it was BBC Radio 2 with some of the radio presenters in the morning, and the name has completely skipped my head, but I remember listening to Father Brian Darcy, and who'd be a very well-known priest in Ireland as well, and Chris Evans, that's the guy who used to be on with Chris Evans, and he would be a good friend of Chris Evans's. But I remember listening to him once, and he said, you know, things didn't get taught at home, they got absorbed. And for me, that's what Relax Kids does in homes and schools. It gives an opportunity for well-being to be absorbed in a way that we create it as fun, we create it as, you know, imaginative, playful, and as something that is just a part of what we do. So if I was to sum up what I believe Relax Kids does, I think in all of our sessions, in how we approach things, we give young people, children and young people, from a very, very early age, through our Little Stars program, through our Baby Mindful, through our Magical Adventures, through Chill Skills, and through the variety of programs that we offer, and then up into the older sibling, which is Charge Up, we give skills that are there for life, that help us to navigate these waters. And we do that, we kind of put the fun into relaxation. And I think that's a really, really important element to it that engages children and young people, is that we make this fun, we make it accessible, and we make it, you know, that it fits in with everyday life. So I guess that's really all I kind of have to say for this evening. Thank you to everybody for watching in and for joining me. If you think you know anybody who can benefit from listening in and hearing what I had to say this evening, hit the share button and share that with family and friends. And the thing about some of this stuff is that you perhaps don't know who needs to hear it. So, you know, that's, I guess, in the whole area of wellness, we actually never know who needs to hear a message at a particular time. So your share could just be the right thing at the right time for the person in your network who perhaps needed to hear it this evening. First and foremost, with adults, be gentle with yourselves. You are doing an amazing job navigating these times, and it may not always feel like that, but it's really, really important. And looking after you and making sure that you then are in the best possible place to support and look after everybody else. So thanks a million to Mernetta and Relax Kids and all the team and all of the coaches here in Ireland that support me and that are spreading the message out there, and all of the coaches, all of our coaches across the world. And if you're listening in and you think you would like to spread a little bit of RK magic across the world, then absolutely check out the training. The team have done such an incredible job to move everything online, and there's been a fantastic feedback on the online training. So check that out if you think it might be something that resonates with you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope the sun is shining where you are, and if it is, that you get a chance to enjoy it, and if it's not, that perhaps you make the most of a cozy evening in and maybe allow yourself permission to have a nice relaxing bath or something along those lines. So take care, everybody. Thanks for watching in. Hi Yolanda, just one of my fellow coaches and trainers there joining in at the end. So thank you for watching in, and I look forward to hopefully connecting with you all soon. Again, any questions, pop them into the comments and I'll come back to them once we're finished.